Hello again. We are here today to talk about two of our student populations and how we can strengthen these programs within our campus. And those programs are the alternative education programs and the students that those programs include, and then the EDLE program. And the reason that we're doing this is because these two programs specifically have seen a large increase in participation due to movement within the district, rezoning, as well as the current state of our country with COVID-19. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. So when we talk about students in these two programs, we are talking about students who specifically qualify for these programs. And so when we talk about English language learners, those are students who have a foundation in a native language that is not English. They receive instruction in school through the TEKS, which is just like every other student, but also those TEKS are aligned with the ELPS, which are the English Language Proficiency Standards, and those are scaffolded throughout their time in the English Learner Program. We also need to recognize that those families, the families of English language learners, are diverse, have diverse needs, and also have a lot to offer the students and our community. Likewise, the alternative education program qualifies students who are not successful in a traditional classroom setting or choose not to participate in a traditional classroom setting. They also meet the requirements of the state through mastering TEKS, but depending on the program they're a part of, this may happen at an accelerated rate. And much like ELs, we recognize that we are not just serving the student, but we are serving the families of these learners as well. In our district and on our campus, the three largest alternative programs that are utilized by our students are Turning Point, Compass, and just the general online distance learning program. The alternative education program is Turning Point, and this is just a student choice campus. So it is alternative, but they choose to be there due to life circumstances, their academic grade level, or the Turning Point offers accelerated, as I was saying, accelerated learning for students who may be at risk of dropping out or sometimes have already dropped out and would like to return, but because of their age cannot go back to a traditional campus. Compass, however, is the disciplinary alternative program, and this is individualized instruction given to students who have been removed because of disciplinary actions, have been removed from their home campus and are receiving their education at Compass. So they are, again, receiving the same, they're based on the same standards as other students, but they must adhere to strict guidelines for being in attendance at Compass, including strict dress code, strict transportation, work effort, the level of work that must be given, things like that. And then also Compass students must sign a no trespass agreement that they are aware that while they are accruing their mandated time at Compass, they are not allowed to step foot on their home campus. And then the largest program that we are currently providing is the online distance program, which serves students who are trying to get dual or college credit, students who, due to chronic illness or excessive absences, might not be able to attend in a traditional classroom, or as of lately, students who are choosing to remain at home due to COVID-19. So these students follow the same curriculum as in-person students and follow generally the same schedule of assignments and instruction. However, it does provide for flexibility of where and when throughout the day these courses can be taken. Our EL program provides students with access to all the same curriculum that the traditional students receive, with the exception of some built-in supports within the classroom and then some classroom supports in EL only classrooms. Educators who have these students have received training in best practices, resources, and strategies for ELs. And then most importantly, it is important as an educator to note that these students have equal access to 504 and SPED placement and accommodations and supports if that is needed by them. When a student is in the EL program, much like if a student is not in the EL program, we do want two-way communication with parents. And so if translation services or translators are needed, that resource is available through the campus as well. And then all ELs are provided with annual assessments for advancement within or out of the program through the TELPAS assessment program. The people in charge of both of these programs are pretty much the same as any other program. We have the head coordinator of the program, the principal, assistant principals, the teachers, students, obviously, and their families. And then some differences, I guess I would say, is in the alternative education program, this might also include legal people, such as law enforcement, attorneys, and judges, or behavioral specialists, such as counselors, doctors, or specialists. The EL program also utilizes the language arts department, which is about 9 teachers who serve as the raters for TELPAS each year. And these teachers receive additional training aside and apart from the general training that all teachers receive. When we're talking about English learners inside of our classroom, because again, ELs will be in the traditional classroom, they will just need some supports put into place. 6 of the main ones that we can talk about are scaffolded instruction, meaning that the instruction is given at a level that the learner can receive that instruction, that there are multiple modes of delivery where the learner sees and hears the instructions given or the activity given, the assignment given multiple ways so that they can better understand what they're supposed to do. Structured and supported interaction. So we want them to engage with their classmates as much as anyone else, but we want to also provide the tools for them to be successful with that. So that might look like supports for the teacher, supports for the student working, the classmate, or supports for the actual EL learner. Explicit instruction in academic language. So social language and academic language are both types of language that they will be acquiring, but we want to make sure that they are receiving explicit instruction in academic language only in the classroom. And then also the understanding that it is okay for them to utilize and access their primary language in order to help them grow in using the English language. And also the understanding from educators and campus administrators that these learners have a wealth of knowledge that they can access, traditions, routines, cultural beliefs that they can bring to the table in the classroom if educators are aware and open-minded enough to see that. Again, when we're talking about the EL student population, we want to recognize that our program follows kind of a yearly cycle. So the student's going to enter the program at whatever level they are currently at, whether that's beginning all the way up to advanced high. So somewhere in there are 4 levels. They will be rated in the areas of reading, writing, speech, and listening, speaking and listening. And then they will receive instruction based on that. And then at the end of the year, they will receive the TELPAS assessment, and based on the new findings, the new ratings, that will determine kind of the process for the next school year. So a few quick things that I do want to address before we go. There are some common misconceptions and mistakes that teachers seem to make when it comes to students in the alternative education program and students in the ELE program. So the first thing that we see a lot of is EL should avoid using their native language when learning English. We kind of briefly spoke about that a moment ago, but ELs, when learning English, are more successful when they can access their native language for supports and help. So that is not something that we want to avoid. EL families never show up to anything, so they must not care about their child's education. We need to recognize that when we create opportunities for parents to be involved, we need to give equal access to those opportunities. Traditionally, we create events that may take place in the evening when these families cannot get there or need transportation or need childcare. So keeping those things in mind are necessary when creating opportunities for families to be involved. And lastly, alternative education programs are treated equally and produce positive results. Because there is a lack of education or a lack of understanding among a lot of educators about what these alternative education programs are, I think there's a misconception of what the results or the purpose of these programs are. Recent findings suggested that alternative education programs could benefit from collecting consistent academic and behavior data during the student's tenure in the program, including data on graduation rates, courses passed, credits earned, GEDs completed, TOS performance, or which is now STAR performance, attendance rates, and dropout rates. And the reason is because without consistent data, the programs statewide and nationwide cannot achieve consistent results. So there is no data to show the true effectiveness of the program. But the main takeaway from that is that the program is only as successful as the district, the campus, and the staff who play the role in designing and implementing these programs. So all that to say, much like anything else that we do, if we are all aware and knowledgeable and take an active role in ensuring success, then our students will be successful. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.